Good morning and welcome, distinguished guests, She Shed members, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Rita Sapula and I have the privilege of being asked by Jane and the board of the She Shed to MC the official opening this morning of this amazing building and community we call the She Shed in Cairns. I'm not only a personal friend of Jane, but I'm also the District Governor-elect for our Rotary District. What started as an initial coffee and a request for help, who can you connect me with, introduced me to, and then it was a request for, I need money for this, and it has snowballed to 4 Rotary clubs in Cairns contributing and helping to this amazing project in various ways. As each of you know, when Jane asks for help, you just can't say no. It's also an honour to be one of the founding members of the She Shed as we opened Queensland's first purpose-built female community space. You will hear this morning the amazing journey and story to get us here to the official opening of the She Shed. It's appropriate this year that the Rotary theme is Unite for Good. And when you look around this whole space, you will see that over 50 businesses, countless individuals and others have contributed to make this event possible. I would now like to introduce Jane to come up and share her vision.
Thank you, Rita, and welcome everyone. Standing here feels surreal, and it's very humbling to see you all gathered in what once was my dream. It's overwhelming in the best possible way. Sorry. Two of my favourite things are helping people and being creative. That's where the idea of She Shed Cairns is born. A safe space for women to connect, create, and in doing so, building stronger individuals who in turn return to their families and communities, stronger individuals to build stronger communities. This dream wouldn't have been a reality without the support of my husband, Todd Mitchell, over there in his workplace. Let's be honest, how many husbands would say, sure honey, go for it, when their wife says, I want to bring a house to site, cut it in half, extend it, lift it, and then rent it, and then underneath that gives us a space for the women of Cairns to have as a She Shed. And he said, sure, go for it. But Todd has stood through me with the kids as well, through tears, setbacks, never ending council approvals. Especially when we had a house on site and no clear path forward. He told me, don't worry, you'll get there. Well, Todd, what a whirlwind it's been, and we're now here opening Queensland's first purpose-built female space. So many things have led me to this point. Some of it sadly includes the loss of friends along the way. When this happens, it shakes you down to your core and it asks you what really matters. Having money in the bank means nothing when you're gone, but what does matter is the quality of your relationships and what you did with your time while you were here. This dream has been shaped by many friends that I've met along the way. Rosemary is our former CEO who had to learn how to walk and talk again after a stroke. She struggled with purpose and connection. Tracy was another lady I met doing support work. A mother in her 30s with 2 children, wanting to doing beading together with other women. Then I worked in a psychology office. So many stories, so heartbreaking. My husband's left me after 65 years. My child's died. I'm just lonely. People isolated, yearning for belonging. Brene Brown, an American academic, puts this explains it so well. In tribal days, we would have gone to the river to connect, and in today's modern world, there's no river. So this is our river now. So we did it. At some point, it was time for me to step up and stop putting things off and do whatever I could do. Even if it took me, and I would have anticipated Todd and I alone would have taken us 5 to 10 years to be at this point. And even if I could just help 1 or 2 women, it would have been better than nothing at all. So not long after I started this project, I realised I had a need for shelving. So I reached out to Bob, who's here from the Cairns Men's Shed. Thanks, Bob. And Bob invited me to speak. It was my first public speaking, and Noelle came with me. It was It was really special. At the end of the talk, one of Bob's members stood up and said, good on you for having the balls to have a go. What a shock. And, I didn't know that I had balls or courage to do anything special or brave. All I knew is that when I asked for help from people, that I wasn't asking for myself, but that I was asking for the others, the ones that needed the help, and that I was doing the right thing. So the first person who believed in me outside of my family was my friend Andrew. We're friends for 30 years, and I'm from Western Australia, and he was a farmer there. And anyway, Andrew asked me what I was up to, and I said I was doing something like the Men Shed, but for women. And without hesitation, Andrew said, I know you and I know the need, and he gave me $10,000. That's where things started to really change at that point. So as you build things, so I need shelving, I call Bob, and then I think I'm going to need financial support from the community. And so then I've always been taught by my dad is, that you always ask the person that's their job, and so I went straight to Rotary. So a former Rotary exchange student myself, my dad's a Rotarian. I called Rita, my friend who stood with me. They've given us not only cash, but in this room is a duress system, so if something happens or someone comes in, that we can press it straight away and security will come. So thank you, Rotary. So it's not just the people I knew, it was strangers, complete strangers. There was a day when I had the walls were just up, it was a shell. And we did own a builder, so I had to play at being site manager. And this guy walked on site and said, I said, who are you, mate? What are you doing? What do you want? A bit like you did to me, Names, actually. he goes, I'm a renderer looking for work. I'm like, oh, wrong site. I said, this is a give back to the community. I said that we don't mind that the walls aren't rendered. It matters about what's going on inside. So we're saving that money on the render and we'll put it inside. And he goes, what are you doing? And I said, it's like the men's shed, but for women. He goes, well, I want to help you. So now a complete stranger's wanting to help me. So he handed me his business card, and it had waterproofing on it. And so I said, when we get to, I think your sister's, we're just going to shove the cushions out the road and make sure we're right here. Come and sit next to me. Yeah. So,
Put up with you again.
welcome. So that's how Mark from M&M Waterproofing ended up in our bathroom in December in the stinking hot with no air conditioning for 2 days doing our waterproofing at no charge. And at the end of it, I say to him, Mark, thank you so much for all your effort. Every time somebody did this, it just meant we got a little bit further and a little bit further. And then Mark stopped me and he goes, no, thank you. I've gone, for what? You've been in the bathroom for 2 days and it's hot and horrible in there. And he goes, no. And then he said, thank you for letting me be part of such an amazing community project. At that point, I started crying. We're fighting over who's saying thank you. So thank you for about 15 minutes in the end, yeah. But that's the kind of magic that built this space. Then there's my dear friend Noelle. Without her, we would not be here today. She's waded through constitutions, insurance policies, dealt with the tax department and Alfredo. Paid for the fire check ceiling, and then on days when I was just too tired to lift the clothing racks on my own, Noelle came and helped me. She's been there with me and for the she-shed every step of the way. Cairns, and she-shed Cairns and the women of Cairns cannot thank you. We're very blessed to have you. We're also blessed to have Kylie Burke as Cairns Art Gallery curator and a talented woodworking artist. I met Kylie at an art gallery opening and immediately stalked her. Asked her for lunch, carefully explained to her my harebrained idea and asked if she'd like to come and play. And thankfully she said yes. From before the house went up, Kylie's been beside me. She's endured hundreds of questions at the most inappropriate times and even more wild ideas and suggestions. Then The day that we poured this slab, I was so excited, beyond excited, that I got all the building materials that were lying around. Got planks, laid out where the kitchen was going, used a plastic sheet to lay out what was going to be the lounge room, dragged all this stuff in, something to build the shelves, the cupboard, and I've called Kylie over waiting at bated breath to see if we were all right, we were going to make it. So Kylie sat with me through the discussion, and at the end she said to me, it's got to be great, we've got it. So I'll never forget the last point of this when ABC Radio interviewed us when we were trying to get through council, and I was sitting over here, Kylie's being interviewed there, and all of a sudden it hit me that we've actually done it. We're not sitting on a piece of black plastic, or that we'd actually achieved, the room was coming. So thank you very much, Kylie, you've done a great job. Then there's Beck. So Beck tells everyone I saved her, but I know the truth, she saved me. So Beck came to us after a medical discharge from the army, in recovery and a little lost. She found our website and kept offering help. At first I kept saying no. We had no insurance, the site was very muddy, it was the year that we had all the rain last year. But one day on an unplanned kiln collecting excursion up the range to Yungaburra, in the old Nordig, weren't you? Not good. I called her. Since then she's driven me on every excursion, from washing glass that's seeded into the floor so we could be posh, to helping me collect 17 pokey stools from Palm Cove Surf Lifesaving Club, through to giving our daughter driving lessons so I could stay on site. She's become family. That's what happens when people come together for a shared purpose. Thank you, Beth. All right, we start Monday. Whoa, with 22 duty volunteers, managers, new friends, shedders I call them. And that's just the beginning. It's my prayer that from Monday until well after I'm gone, that this building and individuals in the community come here to share this space. So my yoga teacher, Han, taught me something during this journey of Han. And what is wealth? To some it's money, to others it's the privilege of helping others, and I believe this to be true. There's a poem that has stayed with me since I was a teenager that explains it perfectly. Flowers leave the fragrance on the hand that bestows them. It's by Helen Steiner Rice. This old Chinese proverb, if practiced each day, would change the world in a wonderful way. Its truth is so simple and it's easy to do, and it works every time and successfully too. For you can't do a kindness without a reward, not in silver, in gold, but in joy from the Lord. You can't light a candle to show others the way without feeling the warmth of a bright little ray. And you can't pluck a rose all fragrant with dew without part of its fragrance remaining with you. And so I'll close. This has been one of Todd and my greatest blessings, to watch the goodness of humanity to make my dream a reality. And to all of you being part of this journey, one person alone could not have done this, but together we have created something special, and from the bottom of my heart, thank you.
Thank you, Jane, and to you, Todd, and your family, because there is a huge sacrifice that I think doesn't get seen behind the scenes. What an amazing journey Jane has explained about the past 18 months. I'd now like to call up Noelle Halpin. She is the president of the She Shed Committee, and she is one of those quiet achievers that in the background just gets on with the job, the legalities and the paperwork, to just make sure the She Shed could be a reality.
Thank you, Rita, for the introduction, and thank you, Jane, for your incredible vision, passion, and inviting us all along on this journey. Good morning, distinguished guests, She Shed members, ladies and gentlemen. Noelle Halpin, and I'm the president of She Shed Cairns, and I have the absolute pleasure of being part of this journey with Jane and our amazing committee. Today is our official opening, not just the physical space, but everything it has taken to get here. I'm going to take you on a little bit of a timeline of how we've got to this point. As Jane mentioned, it all began with her friend Andrew generously gifting her some money to get that ball rolling. The spark of support turned into a vision, and in May, Jane came to me with the idea. And from here, we got to work. We set up the structure, constitution, sorted insurance, brainstormed fundraising ideas, launched our social media, and started building the foundation of what She Shed could become. We knew we could not do this alone, so we recruited a few friends from our days fundraising at our kids' school fetes. We, in effect, copied the P&F committee. There were the women we had already worked alongside for years, and we knew we made a great team. They were going to bring the energy and commitment to the She Shed concept. Along the way, we were also lucky enough to find a couple of other incredible women who were not part of school days but instantly felt like connected. Just like that, the core of our volunteer committee was formed and we got to work building something from scratch. From May 24 through to December 24, Jane poured her energy into the build, working with suppliers and coordinating every piece of the puzzle. Jane made an effort to spread the word across local businesses, and the response from the Cairns community was amazing. As mentioned before, as many as 50 tradies, suppliers and small businesses said yes, prioritising this project, offering discounts, donations and support even during the busy lead up to Christmas. What was meant to be difficult came together with surprising ease. Our committee secretary, Pauline, sums it up perfectly when she called it the She Shed magic. In December, we had a special builders opening and a thank you to everything that had been achieved so far. But we also knew heading into the new year, there was still plenty left to do. But even with all the momentum, we still had one hangover hanging over our shoulders: council approval for our development application.
Keep shrinking over here.
It all went through. From January to mid-February, we were stuck in a holding pattern, waiting for that final green light. During that time, we put the call out for the community support and the response was amazing. We received over 300 letters of support for our D application, making She Shed Cairns one of the most supported development application council has ever received, with 0 objections. That moment reminded us again that the community was right behind us. Once we finally received council approval, we really could get moving, because while we had the building, we still needed to fill it. Word had spread and every day donations were arriving. Boxes and bags filled with fabrics, ribbons, craft supplies, paper craft supplies, beads, mosaic pieces, sewing machines and so much more. With the help from a few more amazing ladies, these ladies brought their time, talents, heart and began the massive task of sorting, catalysing and organising to set up this beautiful space that you see around you. Of course, while we were still setting up inside, there were still major parts of the build to finish. Thanks to Bryant Building Contractors, we were able to finally complete our accessible toilets, build the ramp outside, and install the handrails for disabled access. These works had been delayed due to financial constraints, but we knew they were vital to ensure that the She Shed was inclusive and welcoming for everyone. But their contributions did not stop there. Max went above and beyond, pulling down our old timber fence and replacing with a brand new gate, improved fence and welcoming entryway. Thank you, Max and Wendy and your entire team. Thank you also to Rob Pine and Cairns Regional Council, who helped our car parking and access. These works began at the start of July and we are very grateful for this investment. It is support like this that shows the power of government working alongside community-led projects. Thank you, Rob, Brett Olds and Cairns Regional Council. In June, we launched our membership drive. We already had a feeling there would be strong interest, but we were surprised by just how quickly it took off. Because we have limited capacity, we knew our numbers would be capped. Within 24 hours of launching our membership, it was full. And right now, We have 88 women on the waiting list, a pretty incredible sign that the She Shed is something our community truly needs. And just late last week received even more good news. The ATO has officially approved She Shed Cairns as a deductible gift recipient. This means that donations of $2 and over are now tax deductible, making it even easier for individuals. So today is just the beginning. This space will grow and evolve with every woman who walks through the door, every new workshop, every new idea shared, every new connection. So from all of us at the committee, thank you very much. Thank you for believing in this and helping us build something that really matters.
Thank you, Noelle, and to the committee that has stayed the course with Jane and to make this happen. It's a great reality. I now would like to call on two very special people in our community, Max and Wendy, because they're very generous in how much they donate to so many causes. Max, would you like to say a few words? Jane asked you to, but can't say no.
That's right. I don't be excused and hate this type of thing, but anyway, there we go. It's a great honour for Wendy to open the shed. And with the company, well, that's just part of this rural community. A lot of you won't know Wendy's background and stuff like that, but that's her parents sitting beside me there. Margaret, an ex-councillor, deputy chair for a while, went to deputy mayor. And did help get the art gallery up and rolling in town, so she's done a little bit over time. And Graham brought Wendy to Cairns at the age of 1 with Melinda, about 3 were you, Belle, at that time. He joined Dr. Charlie Knott's surgery, then Graham grew on from there. And Wendy was educated at Cairns North Primary School. Then they shipped the kids down to Brisbane to give Graham and Margaret a bit of a time at boarding school. Brisbane was a bit too quiet for them, so they came back to Cairns and finished their education. The 3 of them, Vicky's a year or 2 younger than Wendy. They came back and completed their high school in Cairns. Then Wendy just got accepted into physiotherapy, went to Brisbane and completed that, came back to Cairns and was working for a while. Then I was doing a scuba diving course with Mr. Tibbs, what's his first name? Peter Tibbs. And this young lady happened to be doing the same course, and that's how we teamed up. And in 1981 we got married, I think, was it? Something like that. And at that stage, I was a man with a spanner with Logan Holmes with my brother Jeff, doing a bit of building and stuff. And Wendy was working with Del Davis, that's right. Del retired, another lady took it over. Wendy was working for her, then decided that she'd had enough and wanted to start her own. And I said, oh goodness me, here we go. She didn't want to be my secretary, so she ran her practice for quite a few years, and we had 2 children and she was still working. Then Anita came along and that was the end of it. She had to throw the towel in there and retired. In her retirement, I built a few spec homes. We had a nursery running and Wendy was always there. Then there was a shortage in physiotherapists, and they did retraining courses, and I was out through the Melbourne University. So she got onto that, did her night study, and graduated through the Melbourne Uni, and that's where she changed physio. She got involved with the education department. Help me here, Kerry, with the special needs kids.
Yeah, supporting kids in education.
Yes, that's right. And it's a hard gig, but she gave them stability. She was there for a lot of years with Kerry. How many?
Well, Well, when he was more than me, but we were about
Yeah.
16 years together.
16 years, and they gave the kids in the system with wheelchair accessibility, whatever. So she's done pretty well. Graham was the big driver for men's sheds, and that dragged on for a while. He was in it for a bit. My eldest brother, was a single guy. He went along there and enjoyed it to have community with other men. And while this was going on, Wendy said in the background, "Why haven't we got a she shed?" So a few years later, that's dragged on, and has got to the point now that I met Darren, and we had a few things, and he said Noelle had she shed up and going, so that's where we jumped on board from there. And it's nice to help, and it's a big privilege to honour Wendy. Thank you.
We will now do the cutting of the ribbon.
We're going to do it now. We come to
You're going to come
we just get it. And Pauline, go that side. Sorry, Bossy, Marion.
notice.
Hold it up. That's what it is, Pauline. Wendy, we've got here though, that's meant. You've got our secret. Sorry, scissors are in that way. They're going up here. Sorry, a bit of a pressure moment, isn't it? Yeah, that's good. We're going to cut it. Thank you, everybody. Yay. Thank you, everybody. And there's morning tea. Oh, read it back. Read it.
Yay, we've done it. We've officially opened the she shed. Thank you, Wendy and Max, for everything. This wouldn't have been possible because you actually speeded up being able to complete the she shed and open so quickly, especially once we had the council approval. So thank you. Before we close the formalities, and ask you to join us for some lovely morning tea, I'd like to thank you all for coming this morning and sharing in this special and momentous occasion for Cairns. Without your contributions, be they financial or in kind, your letters of support, as Noelle mentioned, and your help with fundraising, thank you. We could not have done this without each of you here today. I'd also like to say a very final special thank you to Camilla, our She Shed executive chef. And her team will help with it. She's provided us with a wonderful spread. So please stay and enjoy the lovely cuisine. Thank you. Thank you.
We got some really good. Thanks, Vince. So what are you doing on Monday night?
Rita. Rita. Thank you, Ready? Sorry, see you. I had the flowers all Thank you.
Oh, you're on it.
To Wendy and then Noelle. Thank you, ladies. Thank you, everybody.